But what we'll do, if we're not there already, let's settle ourselves upon the earth. So lie down. You can bring cushions, blankets into the situation to support you. You can be flat on the ground. You can have soft knees if you prefer. So however your restful place, your place of settling feels best for you, just take your time to lay upon the earth. You'll be laying down. I'll be seated for a bit just so I can talk to you and see you a little easier. Beautiful. So as we lay down upon the earth, you might want to close the eyes or let the gaze be soft. And as always, we're just going to take our time to arrive in our practice. And this is just the beginning, so nothing has to be perfect yet, but or perfect any time indeed. But this is just a chance to begin to settle a little. Even if it's just an intention to begin to settle the body, to settle the breath, let it be unhurried. And perhaps we can begin to settle the mind just a little by just gathering up any busy thoughts, any to-do lists, and we'll just pop them at the side of the room. Any worries or tensions you've been holding on to, if we can, we'll pop them aside. It's not always an easy thing, so we'll just set the intention. We'll let go of whatever we can. We're letting the body journey to this place of stillness. The interesting thing as we settle the bones, and the muscles, and the joints, the body begins to find a little stillness supported upon the earth. But there's still beautiful movement within the body. However still we may be, there'll always be the beat of the heart, the rhythm of the breath, the blood moving around the body. And this is mirrored in the outside world. The world will never stop turning, we hope. The world will never stop turning. There'll always be noises and distractions, adventures within each new day. But within that movement, we can find a little stillness. During the festive season, things can feel particularly noisy or bright or stressful. I always think the theme of stillness is always nice around festive times, just to help ourselves find a little peace, a little calm, a little restfulness. And also just to embrace it, this idea that whilst we may never be perfectly still, we can find our elements of stillness. So whether that's stillness in body or mind, a little stillness of the chattering voices in our mind, these little stillnesses we can find to help us find a little more peace. From our restful place upon the earth, what we're going to do from here is we're just going to soften the knees and pop the soles of the feet on the floor. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're just going to let the knees fall out either side like a butterfly, so the soles of the feet will come together. The arms can be wherever feels comfortable for you, so you can have them resting on the body, you can have them wide, you can have them reaching overhead, whatever feels like a nice place the arms to be, feel free to settle them. Take your time. If you need any support underneath the knees, feel free to bring that in any time. Or if you need to take a pause or a readjust at any point, you can do that too. Just take our time to settle here. These still yin style poses are really nice ones, just to give us as much time as we need to settle, to breathe. And as we seek a little of our own energy of stillness within each pose, each one becomes its own little meditation. Take your time to settle and to breathe. From here, let's gently draw the knees back together so the soles of the feet more turned. Lovely. From here, we're just going to hug both knees in towards the heart. So we can take the hands around the knees or shins, and we're just going to gently draw the knees inwards. Beautiful. So we're just creating a little hug, a little tuck. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to move into happy baby. So with one hand on each knee, we're going to draw the knees wide and down as if we're tucking them in towards our armpits. We're going to shine the soles of the feet. It's comfortable. Take hold of the outside edges of them. If holding the feet feels a little too much, you can always hold onto your ankles, back of your thighs, or you can just let the feet be restful and hold onto your knees. And you can be still here if you wish, or if you feel like you might want to take a little sway, a little rock and roll side to side, feel free to bring a little movement in. Just because we're seeking stillness doesn't mean we can't move on our journey to get there. Sometimes these little movements, these little rock and rolls, just help us listen to the body, listen to the muscle, and find a little settled place for them. We're just going to take a few more breaths here, so you can continue moving if you like, you can be still if you prefer. Beautiful. So from here, let's gently release the feet. We'll just hug the knees back in. So we'll just kind of come out the way we came in. So a little hug of the knees inwards. Beautiful. And when you're ready, we'll release the soles of the feet to the earth. Soft hips, soft knees once more. Lovely. From here, what we'll do is we'll take the arms wide upon the earth, so you're making like a capital T shape across. And then from here, we're just going to let the knees fall to the right, and the gaze is going to go over to the left. So we're coming into that supine twist. Just when you're ready, we'll journey to the other side. So we'll take the knees over to the left, the gaze to the right. Taking our time, bring in any support you like, cushions underneath the knees or in between the knees. Just having to support us so we can find our restful place within the pose. When you're ready, we'll bring the knees and the gaze back up to the sky. So we're coming back just to settle the hips and spine upon the earth once more. Beautiful. And then what we're going to do from here is we'll just roll onto one side in our little recovery pose. So we're just coming onto our edge, just like the regular recovery pose. Beautiful. So just take a breath or two. And then when you're ready, we'll rise up to an easy seat. Take your time. If you find it more comfortable to do so, please do sit on cushions or blankets or blocks. So we'll just take a little time so that we can really settle into Sukhasana, our easy seat or sweet seat. Sit bones settled into the earth, legs crossed, aware of this connection to the earth beneath us, but then also this conscious rising through our center. So if we're shining our crown up towards the sky. So there's this idea of the energy running downwards to connect us, but then that conscious lift through the body. So we're creating as much space through our center as we can. If you feel that you want to roll the shoulders or kind of move the neck, feel free just to give yourself a moment to unravel, to wiggle. And then when you feel ready to do so, we'll just rest the hands wherever is comfortable, so knees or lap. We'll just gently close the eyes. As we settle into our easy seat. I often tell the story of the very first images of ancient yogis were carved into cave walls, and they weren't doing any elaborate poses or intricate balances. They were just seated in easy seat, Sukhasana. As they sought that magic of stillness, of harmony within, between body, breath, and mind. So as we seek stillness as our theme for tonight's practice, it seems sensible to come back to the very beginning of all yoga practice. And then just when you feel ready, we're just going to hinge from our hips. So we're just going to plant the hands upon the earth. So we're just tilting forward. So we'll just walk or slide the hands forward as we move into a forward fold. And you can keep the eyes closed if you want to, or just take your time to journey. Or let the head hang heavy. If you're working with any injuries of knees or ankles, then you're very welcome to extend the legs out in front of you if folding them across legs is uncomfortable. We'll just take our time to let the head hang heavy, shoulders hang heavy, easeful and calm. In our lovely forward fold, we'll rise through head and heart, so coming back to upright. And then second forward fold, we're going to take our lovely wide legs. As always, this is just as wide as is comfortable for you, so take your time, no rush. Legs extended, toes pointing up towards the sky, but you can bring the legs closer together if that's more easy. And then once again, lovely tall spine hinging from your hips. We'll take the hands and we'll just walk or slide them forwards just as far as is comfortable. So it doesn't matter if it's just a little tilt forwards today. And we'll let the head hang heavy once more. Beautiful. Again, easeful breath, finding our stillness or our place to settle within the pose. From here, once again, we rise through head and heart. Beautiful. So from here, what we'll do is we'll just gently scoop the knees in. We're going to journey, just as a transition pose, we're going to come to all fours. But then from all fours, we're going to move into our child's pose. So we're going to bring the big toes together to touch. Knees as wide as is comfortable. We're setting the bum back onto the heels. And if it's comfortable to do so, we'll reach the hands forward and we'll rest forehead on earth. You can bring in cushions if you like to have cushions or bolsters underneath you. If you have a favourite child's pose that you like to come to, feel free to come to your variation. And just taking our time to settle to the earth. Just take a few more lovely breaths in this child's pose, restful and grounded. And from here, we'll just gently bring the hands under shoulders so we can lift up. And then what we'll do from here is we're going to bring bum to earth. We're going to sweep the legs around. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together once more. This time we can take hold of ankles, feet, toes, whatever feels comfortable. Sit bones rooted in the earth. Knees opening towards the ground as we open through the hips. And you're welcome to stay here and work with this idea of the energy rising up through the spine and then sending downwards through sit bones and knees. Or if you wish, we can hinge from the hips so we can draw the heart towards the big toes. So we can come into the fold if we like, letting the head hang heavy. Or we can stay upright and work with the hips. Just two different versions of the same pose, so feel free to play around with whichever one works best for you, or maybe try both, see which one you like. So if you're hinged forwards right now, let's just gently rise up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come to the reclining version of this pose. So check that there's some space behind you. We've got soles of the feet together. And we're going to recline to the earth once more as we began. This time, if it's comfortable, we'll take the hands over the head and let the elbows fall out. So we're creating two kind of diamond shapes, one with the arms and one with the legs. And we'll just breathe here. Letting ourselves settle to the earth once more. And then from here upon the earth, we're just going to extend out along the ground. So we'll straighten through the legs, we'll straighten through the arms. So we're just making a long line through the body, flat on the ground, as if we're trying to reach both sides of the room at the same time. And you can have a little wiggle or a flex with fingers and toes if you like, just enjoying a nice little finding of space. And then from our lovely long line, we're just going to spread out like a starfish. You'll just reach the arms and the legs wide. Again, you can have a little wiggle, a little flex if you like. We're just going to have a nice finding of space, taking up as much space as we can. Beautiful. So from here, when you're ready, we're going to bring the arms back alongside the body. We're going to take a minute here to prepare for the second half of our practice. So we're going to prepare for our Shavasana, our relaxation and meditation time. So if there's a pose or a movement you'd like to do before you settle, feel free to do so. Possibly more importantly, make sure that you have plenty of blankets, socks, woolly jumpers, anything that's going to help you feel nice and warm and cozy. I'm going to put my socks on because it's chilly here. And just take your time to get really comfortable. As this is our last week before Christmas, I wanted to do something a little different. So I'll be reading a lovely story from this book called Tending Bridget's Flame. And it's a lovely Celtic book of sort of Celtic magic and myth. And you might be familiar with the goddess or the Saint Bridget, who is the keeper of the flame. So she's a beautiful, beautiful goddess in her own right. But there's also some lovely kind of Celtic meditations and journeys, and I thought I'd read one of these to you. So it's sort of a half story time, half guided meditation, and hopefully a chance to be warm and to be restful. As always, you don't have to pay attention to everything I'm saying in the meditations. It's just a little guided journey that might bring you to a restful place, or it might just be a chance for you yourself to relax. So there is no pressure, nothing we need to do. So as always, we'll settle upon the earth in any way that feels right for you. When you feel ready to do so, we'll gently close the eyes. Once again, as we seek a little stillness, we draw our awareness, our energy, our intention inwards. Aware of the body as it settles into the earth. Aware of the breath, the gentle rise and fall. And aware of the mind. If we find it wandering, perhaps we gently guide it back to the breath, or if there's a worry that's been circling around in our head today, maybe we just pop it at the side of the room, even if it's just for a short while. Just allowing ourselves this opportunity to let the noise and busyness of the day fall away. And just in our own way, find a little stillness and find a little calm. As we settle and sink into our own stillness, there is nothing we have to hold on to too tightly. So if a new thought jumps into the mind, we can notice without judgment and let it go. But this also includes the sound of my voice. You do not have to pay attention to what I'm saying. You can just let the world outside of this little sanctuary upon your mat fall into soft focus. There is a world within each of us that is beyond the world in which we walk every day. Whether we call it imagination, visualization, or journeying, it is an endless, revealing realm of wisdom and wonder. In Celtic myth and magic, we call this journey an Immram, a voyage, a setting forth upon the seas of the unknown. And in Celtic lore, great tales of Immram tell of enchanted islands and magical symbols, challenges that deepen the soul. And whether the challenges are met or not, it is always the journey that is more important than the outcome. So just perhaps in the mind's eye, we envisage ourselves seated in a small wooden boat, large enough for just one person. The boat rests upon a misty shore, just touching the edge of the ocean. Little gentle waves lapping at the bow. Upon the boat's mast, a sail is furled up, wrapped tightly. But there are no oars or rudder, no way to steer this boat. So just for now, you take a moment to orientate yourself. Run your hands along the smooth wood of the sides. Feel the solidity of the wood beneath your feet. Notice if there is anything else with you in the boat, anything you are taking with you on your journey. You might notice your surroundings, the sky above you, birds perhaps flying in the sky. Maybe you enjoy a nice deep breath of ocean air, or feel the wind upon your face. A wave comes now, but not an ordinary wave, but one sent from the depths of the ocean to lift your boat and set it afloat beyond the turning of the tides. And once you have been carried into open water, you release the sail. Maybe you notice its colour, any symbols upon it. But as the wind catches the sail, you are on your journey, on your way. And after a time, your boat approaches a small island made entirely of grey stone. The shoreline is piled high with boulders that catch the sea spray and draped in seaweed. But as your boat bumps gently against these boulders, and your eyes wander over the stone, you see a small inlet of damp sand, just big enough for the boat to rest and for you to stand upon. And there is a bronze ring set in the stone for you to tie the boat safely. From this little inlet, a narrow path winds, and you follow it amongst the boulders. Following this path up a gentle incline, you emerge at the top of the island, a wide expanse of stone, worn smooth over thousands of years of wind and water. You turn in this place atop the rocks, just to see each direction. The west, where you know the sun will set. The north, the east, and the south. You see the ocean around you, the boat in its resting place. And here now, atop the rocks, you see a domed structure carved into the rock, made of that same grey stone. It is well camouflaged, but with one side open towards the air, and within which you can see now, as you draw closer, there is a fire within this shelter. Glowing red stones and dancing flames illuminate a very cozy looking space. As you draw inwards, you see now that the shelter is a forge. There are blacksmith tools and glowing embers around you. And in the center of this space, a black iron anvil, decorated with spirals and symbols. And at the very top of the anvil, you notice, is a gift. It is a gift for you. You pick it up and take a look. Take your time with it. Maybe you give thanks in a way that feels right to you. And when you are ready, you return to your boat with your gift. As soon as you are seated, the wind picks up the sail once more. And as you untie your boat, the little vessel once again sets out to sea. And you sail for a time, watching the horizon, observing the weather. You might see creatures of sea or sky. You see now that you are approaching a second island. This time you see clearly there are stairs cut into the rock face. Stairs that seem to rise straight out of the ocean itself. These stairs rise up from the water and curve around beautiful white stone. And as you tie your boat to a silver ring, this time set within the stone, you disembark and walk upon this white stone staircase. The stairs wind up and around this small island, this gentle incline. And the stairs end at the opening to a cave high above the waves where you tethered your boat. The light reflected off the water shines into the cave. And you see the walls aligned with mother of pearl, white and luminous. And as you stand at the center of this cave, you are aware of this beautiful resonance of music and light within these walls, like an echo of the sea and sun combined. You find yourself gently lifting your hands in a gesture of receiving. And a second gift appears. This time it appears within the palm of your hands. And you may give thanks in a way that feels right to you. And when you are ready, you return to your boat with the gift. Place your second gift beside the first in your boat. And just as before, the wind lifts your sails and takes you out into the open water. And in time, your boat approaches a third island. This one is covered in dense green forest. And your boat comes to rest on a little beach strewn with palm trees. And as you disembark, your feet hit warm, soft sand. But as you leave the beach, a path runs in many directions, and you must pick one. And as you move through the forest, more forks in the path appear, and each time you must choose a turning. But in time, you come to a clearing, and you can see that many paths have led to this place. From all directions, each ends at this same sacred grove. Tall trees surround you, moving in the wind, sighing and singing with the voices of oak and rowan and willow tree. At the center of the grove is an ancient stone well. And there is a bucket on a rope dropped into the water. As you pull on the rope and the bucket rises, you find your third gift. as you lift your gift out of the bucket and the well. You may give thanks in a way that feels right to you. When you are ready, you may return to your boat with your gift. Now, with the 3 gifts beside you in your little boat, you feel the wind lift the sail one last time and guide your boat towards home, to the place from which you departed. Once more, you spot familiar shores. But as we approach the shore, we see 3 beautiful women awaiting us, wearing beautiful cloaks. A stone altar or table stands before them. Your boat comes to shore, and you move to stand before this altar and see the 3 smiling faces of these women. And you place your 3 gifts upon the altar before them. The 3 women step forward and each touches a gift. And with their touch, the gift transforms into a living flame, burning without apparent source or fuel upon the stone. And these 3 separate flames merge now into one. And as the 3 flames merge together, it seems as though the 3 women also merge to one. And then the woman too becomes part of this one beautiful flame. And as you gaze into its depths, you feel it warming your being. This heat and light and warmth becoming part of you. It may be along with this light and this warmth, you might receive a message or a knowing that is meant for you. It might be a message of comfort or love or reassurance. It might simply be a joy in the warmth and the light before you. And as the flame flickers and gently dulls down to warm embers, you are thankful for your journey and the gifts found within. All the warmth, knowledge and inspiration of the gifts you have now drawn inwards with that light and warmth of the flame. And so, my beautiful yogis and my intrepid voyagers, perhaps the next inhale is just a little longer, a little deeper than the last. You might want to wiggle fingers and toes. You might want to stretch or move the body in any way that feels nice for you as we begin to bring our awareness back to the room and back to our day. With eyes still closed, if you can or if you wish to, we'll gently bend the knees and pop the soles of the feet on the floor. And once again, we'll roll onto our comfortable side, that little yogi recovery pose, just to take a few easeful breaths so we don't rise up too quickly. And again, with eyes still closed and no rush, we'll just gently rise to an easy seat. You can bring the blankets with you if you like. It doesn't matter what way you're facing. We're just going to take a final moment to sit in stillness with a little of that peace and light we've nurtured and nourished in our practice today. And to finish our practice, let's take a nice deep inhale. Let's sweep the arms all the way up to the sky, reaching tall. We'll bring the palms together and we're going to exhale the hands to heart center in prayer. From here we can gently open the eyes, and to ourselves and each other we say namaste. Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you. Thank you.